The Tagada is a simple ride with a complex history. The earliest roots of the ride can be traced to the turn-of-the-century attractions that were essentially just spinning wheels designed to throw riders off them with centrifugal force. This would evolve over time into the Tagada we know today. The modern Tagada is a very dangerous ride. It's so dangerous that it's banned in several countries, including the US and Australia. The ride consists of a spinning disc with seats on the end, facing inwards. The ride has bars behind the seats to help prevent riders from falling out, as well as for riders to hold on to. The seats are not equipped with any kind of standard restraint. Once the ride starts, the disc starts spinning at an operator-controlled speed. The operator can also control a hydraulic below the disc that causes the ride to bounce up and down. The operator of the ride has complete control, making every ride cycle different. The ride has been made by probably hundreds of different manufacturers, and its simple design lends itself well to less experienced manufacturers, often leading to even more danger. The largest established manufacturer of Tagada rides is Technical Park of Italy. Their own website encourages what some might call unsafe operation, stating that, quote, "In Europe, carnivals can be seen sometimes riders are told the ride is over, but the gates are not open and the operator restarts the ride, making everyone fall over before opening the gates. Pardon the broken English." These rides are known for their chaotic and unsafe experience. Riders are expected to hold on to the bars behind them to keep them secure, but with the airtime generated by the bouncing, many riders experience injuries from falling into the seat, then being forced upwards by the upswing from the bounce, with the most common injuries being bruises and broken bones. Many other injuries occur from riders getting up during the ride, which is actively encouraged at most installations. Riders can often find themselves bounced around the center of the ride on their stomach or back, unable to get up due to the motion of the ride. This frequently results in broken bones and bruises. The majority of significant injuries and deaths from Tagada rides have occurred as a result of riders being ejected from the ride. Some models of the ride have lower bars behind the riders, making ejections more realistic. Even with the higher bars, such as the one on the Technical Park version, it's still possible for riders to be bounced out of the ride, with at least 2 deaths being recorded from this happening within the last 10 years, but likely many more occurring. Many wonder why the ride is banned in the United States. One of the biggest reasons is due to it not being ASTM compliant. ASTM guidelines stipulate that rides that experience 0 Gs must have a Class 3, 4, or 5 restraint, depending on how strong the negative G forces are. Tagada rides can best be defined as having a Class 1 or 2 restraint, with the grab bars acting as the restraint in the case of a Class 2 restraint. However, with many manufacturers actively encouraging riders not to use these bars, it could be argued that Tagadas simply have no restraint at all. I made a separate video explaining ASTM further if you're interested. Not all states in the US require rides to be ASTM compliant when they're bought, but most do, meaning that this ride will likely never be found in the US. There are a few variations on the ride that can be found here though. In order to pass ASTM, these rides are smaller and feature seatbelts or other restraints. They're very different than the European, South American, and Asian version of the ride. As mentioned previously, the ride has become a favorite for companies with less manufacturing skill. This can be seen most clearly with Chinese manufacturers, with many unlicensed, illegal Tagada rides being made by very small companies in Hunan province. The ride is ultimately very simple and in demand in Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America. Because of this scattered manufacturing background, it's not very clear who made the first example of a modern Tagada. There are also many different variations of Tagada rides with small changes. For example, some have lower seats. In general, the Tagadas in Western Europe have slowly become more tame over the years with the number of accidents that have been occurring. Asia and South America, on the other hand, still tend to run Tagada rides at full speed, with some rides claiming to give riders 10 minutes of relentless centrifugal force and bouncing. These rides are truly up to the mercy of the ride operator. If an operator does not like someone on the ride, they have full control to bounce them until they fall out or break a bone. Tagadas are some of the most dangerous rides in the world, but they also promise a more thrilling experience than just about any other ride, all at a relatively low cost compared to most rides. This makes them a staple of fairs and parks in lower economic areas. That being said, they can still be found elsewhere and offer a ride that cannot be matched in terms of its sheer insanity. Have you had a chance to ride a Tagada? If not, would you ride one if you could? As always, if we missed something or got something incorrect, please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Just a quick reminder that if you want to watch all episodes of this season's Flat Ride Friday without having to wait for the next few weeks, you can become a channel member and gain immediate access.